what do we do next? We simply take the total of A, B, C, D to see how many squares these four right angle triangle occupy. And it will be 4.5 plus 12.5 plus 4.5 plus 12.5, giving it a total of 34 squares. So all we need to do next is to take the total number of squares, which is 64, to minus the 34 unshaded squares, and you will get 30 squares. After which you multiply by the area of one square, which is 4 square centimeter, and that will give you a total of 120. And there you are, boys and girls. The answer to this question is 120 square centimeter using the subtraction method. Hello, boys and girls. Thank you once again for joining me this evening on this mind-bending math challenge. Now, can you fold an object in your mind's eye? If you can, it will help you to think more clearly and accurately about mathematics. Start to master this skill with the following question. Visualization using the skill of folding. Now, the diagram below shows a rectangle placed on a grid of 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter squares. What is the area of the rectangle in square centimeter? Do you remember the addition and the subtraction method to do this? Well, if you can remember, well done. You can try to solve this question along with me as I explain to you how it's done. Now, in order to solve this question using the folding method, you need to be able to visualize, and you need to be able to mentally perform the folding. All right, let's now recap what the addition method is all about. Before you can solve the area of the yellow rectangle in the middle, you have to first find out what is the area of one small square in the entire grid. The area of one small square is 2 times 2, which gives you 4. Then we next proceed to find out and block out this blue color square rectangle, which is made up of 3 times 6, a total of 18 squares. Now, if you can mentally fold this, you will be able to obtain the triangle A, which is half of this blue triangle, making A occupies 9 square. Next, you proceed to block out square B, which contains 5 times 5, 25 squares. And if you mentally fold that into half, you will get the triangle B, which occupies half of 25, and that will be 12.5 squares. Then we proceed to the bottom left-hand corner and look at the square C that we have blocked out, and it is 3 times 3, 9 squares. And triangle C is half of this 9 square if you fold it along the diagonal, all right, and that will be 4.5 squares. And to the right of triangle square C, you will be able to block out another square D, which is 2 by 2 smaller square, making it a total of 4 small squares inside the bigger square D. And the triangle D is half of this, and it will give you 2 squares. And finally, you're able to see a rectangle, a small rectangle in the middle, rectangle E, which occupies 2 squares. What do you have to do next? The area, to be able to find the area of the rectangle in the middle, all you need to do is now add the total number of squares that A, B, C, D, and E occupies. And that will be 9 plus 12.5 plus 4.5 plus 2 plus 2. Now, once you get the total, you multiply by the area of one small square, which is 4, and you will obtain an area of 120. Therefore, the answer to this question is 120 square centimeter. Now, what about the subtraction method? Do you still remember how to use it? Let's take a look. Now, to be able to do or to use the subtraction method to solve this question, we still have to first find what is the area of one tiny square, which is 2 times 2, and that gives you 4. Next, we need to find out for the entire figure, how many small squares are there. And you will find that the entire figure is made up of 8 times 8, which is 64 small squares. Then we will proceed to find out the right angle triangle at the top right-hand corner, the unshaded portion. That will give us half times 3 times 3, and it occupies 4.5 squares. And the bottom right-hand side, you have another right angle triangle with a base of 5 square and a height of 5 square. And that gives you the area of B to be standing on or sitting on 12.5 square. And you hop over to the left-hand side, left bottom, you will find that there is a right angle triangle C, which has a base of 3 and a height of 3. And therefore, triangle C occupies half times 3 times 3, and that is 4.5 squares. Then over to the top left-hand corner, which is a right angle triangle D. Now, how many squares does D occupy? It will be half times 5 times 5, giving it 12.5 squares. Now, what do we do next? We simply take the total of A, B, C, D to see how many squares these 4 right angle triangle occupy. And it will be 4.5 plus 12.5 plus 4.5 plus 12.5, giving it a total of 34 squares. So all we need to do next is to take the total number of squares, which is 64, to minus the 34 unshaded squares, and you will get 30 squares. After which you multiply it by the area of 1 square, which is 4 square centimeter, and that will give you a total of 120. And there you are, boys and girls. The answer to this question is 120 square centimeter using the subtraction method. I'm not too sure about you, but for myself, I prefer the subtraction method. All right. Do you think that we can make use of this method, all right, to solve any other question, all right, besides the rectangles? How about taking a look at this? Can we use the same method to find the area of this triangle? What do you think? Ask yourself this question. In this figure, all right, the triangle is placed right in the middle of the grid that measures 1 by 1 centimeter squares. Now, did the question give you the base of the triangle? And do you know the height of this triangle? You find that there is, you don't know any of this. You don't have any information about that. And because of that, now you think about it. Can you apply what you have learned to solve this question? How about giving it a try? All right. Pause this video to try. The important thing about mathematics is not to be frightened. So go ahead now, pause the video, take out your paper and pen, and start working on this. Now, I'm sure you have gotten the answer. Now let's take a look at whether you have solved it right. To be able to do this question, we need to do the same thing as what we did with the rectangle. First and foremost, we need to find out what is the area of the entire figure, which is 5 multiplied by 5, and that will give us 25 square centimeter. Then find the area of the right angle triangle on the top left. It is half times 4 times 5, and that will give you 10. Next, proceed to find what is the area of the right angle triangle B on the top right, and that will give you half multiplied by 1 multiplied by 4, and that will give you the answer 2. Then move over now to find what is the area of the right angle triangle C, which is at the bottom, and you will realize that that will give you half times 1 times 5, an area of 2.5. Then we can now go ahead and solve what is the area of this shaded blue triangle? Simply by taking 25 to subtract the total of 10, 2, and 2.5. And that will give us an answer of 10.5. Hence, this blue triangle has an area of 10.5 square centimeter. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson as much as I've enjoyed presenting it to you. Don't be fearful of mathematics. Remember, the more you try, the better you will be. Until the next episode, goodbye, boys and girls.